I look at each of you, and I see the marks of this long and terrible war. If we die tonight, mankind dies with us.
Hey everybody, welcome to What the Flick. We're all here. A couple of big movies this week. Matt Atchie, it's Christy and Alonzo, Ben Mankiewicz. Some of us get last names, others.
I'm like Sting.
Yeah, totally. Exactly. Terminator, which one was this? The fifth one?
Yes.
Terminator, I had a big argument on TYT Sports about all the Rocky movies because we watched the trailer for Creed. We'll get to Terminator in just a second, and that was with Francis, and Francis was like, he knows everything that happened in every Rocky movie by the number. Like, and maybe people do.
I do too.
I guess I have no. He was like, yeah, in Rocky V. I'm like, who remembers what happens in Rocky V? But it turns out nothing interesting.
Which one has Mr. T in it? That's the fourth.
Three. Yeah, that I know. 1 and 3 are the only Rocky movies that matter. Okay, Terminator Genisys.
Genisys, Terminator 5, yes. Okay, so forget everything you know, because this movie sure has, or at least it wants you to, in that J.J. Abrams, fuck it, we're going to start over, but not start over, but do start over a thing where it's a time travel paradox and it loops itself, and John Connor sends Kyle Reese to the past, but it's not the past that it used to be because now it's a different past, and the Terminator went to the earlier thing, and it's very migraine-inducing. Take a look.
The machine sent a Terminator back to the time before the war to kill my mother, Sarah Connor.
Sir, let me save her. Telling me going back to her, she'll be scared and weak. Take care of her for me, Kyle.
Come with me if you want to live. Now, soldier!
This is all wrong. John sent me here to save you.
From the Terminator that was sent back to kill me, I know, but we already took care of him.
We?
I've been waiting for you.
The time John sent you to, it no longer exists. Everything's changed. We can stop Judgment Day from happening. Run! Where is he?
Matt and I saw this together, and I turned to Matt when it was over. I'm like, I'm so confused. Because there's a line, I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a line toward the end that like changes everything that you had just seen. I'm so confused still. Does it make sense?
You could talk about it a little bit without spoiling it. There is the very end of the movie includes a line from one character to another in present day that doesn't that seems
in 2017
that seems to unwind everything that happened in the movie. But I had made I watched it with my wife, and about 40 minutes in, I said, I don't understand anything.
Well,
and she was like, yeah, I don't either. I gave up like 10 minutes ago. I'm like, yeah.
Because that's the point.
Yeah.
That's the point where it stops making any sense, right? At the beginning of the movie, like, okay, you're kind of going with it, and you come into this, we're seeing the scenes at the end of the war against the machines that have been hinted at in a few different other movies, and we're getting those scenes, and then where Kyle Reese ends up going back in time, things are different than we expect. And the movie kind of riffs on that for a bit, and then it starts to go sideways plot-wise, and it stops making a lot of sense. And the time travel in this movie and the way that affects the plot is really, once you get like about halfway through the second act, it just gets shoddy, and they just start throwing stuff in there, I think kind of just for laughs and just to like do twists that don't make any sense. Yeah, the Flash's time travel on TV makes more sense than this movie. The time travel in the Austin Powers movies is tighter than this, and that's really disappointing. This movie made me think of, at the beginning you start seeing things that you're expecting to see, and it's like if you go see a band, if you were to go see a Rush concert, right? And early on, if they're hitting some of the big songs that you love and you want them to play, and it's not quite as tight as when you saw them earlier.
Take that back.
All right, maybe not Rush.
Rush still sounds amazing.
Okay, maybe somebody like the Police, right? Like the Police get back together, and like, yeah, you love the songs and you know it, but they're not as tight and they're not as fun. But you know, there's a familiarity there, and that's cool. And then they start playing new stuff.
And then you're like,
and the new stuff like
bathroom.
is like half-baked versions of the old stuff, and that's what they do. And which is why a concert with a band getting back together leads with the shitty new stuff and plays, and that's what this movie should have done. Like, show us all the crap that nobody cares about at the beginning, and then start showing us the old stuff.
I mean, if we take the time travel stuff off the table and just talk about this as an action movie, I still think it's okay. I think it has a couple of effective set pieces. There are a few good, you know, fights with the liquid Terminators, some cool special effects, but the problem with the time travel stuff is that it removes all the stakes, because anything that can be accomplished or done or changed can be undone like that.
By going someplace else.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
Right, they're ripping off Bill and Ted.
It's not. It's not just. And maybe I'm wrong here, but it wasn't just alternate. It wasn't just time travel. It was like alternate realities.
Because
also.
the time travel tweaked things.
Right.
It was alternate paths.
Alternate paths, which sort of explained, is the only possible explanation for the ending, that there's an alternate path where the thing that just happened, yeah, whatever. So, but for whatever reason, I'm with you guys, and when a movie loses its way like that and stops making sense about the very thing that is so key to everyone's enjoyment of the franchise, I usually care. For whatever reason, I was able to be like, yeah, okay, if they say that they need to go to this time period, I believe them. Even though no possible way it makes sense.
And you love time travel movies, and I know that they usually matter to you to make sense. It does.
So for whatever reason, maybe because this was a degree of stupid, that didn't bother me. And then once the sort of, you know, once you're like, once you're in your zone, then I was like, hey, Arnold Schwarzenegger is pretty funny in this movie.
Okay, let's talk about that. I want to come to that next, because this is the ballyhooed return of Arnold Schwarzenegger to the role that made him a superstar over 30 years ago. And it's like watching your drunk old uncle at a wedding. No, it is. No,
that's harsh.
No, it's not, because here's why. It's still funny, but it's
hands
like
are cold.
I know. I have a warm heart, though. It's okay. I need love. So it just feels like, okay, it's jokey, and it's self-referential, bordering on parody. When he says, "I'll be back," like, it's not cute. It's like,
no, but it's saved
really?
but that line is saved. They don't let it linger. It doesn't even have a moment. It's saved by Emilia Clarke going, "What?
I'll be back."
What?
And she gets to say, "Come with me if you want to live." I don't know. It feels like he's returning to the thing, and it feels recycled and cheesy.
I thought he was fine. I thought he made it kind of fun. The one thing I will definitely give this movie points for, the rejuvenating old actors technology has gotten a lot better since, say, Tron Legacy. Yeah. Because in this week I saw this and Ant-Man, both of which involve like showing you what the leading man would have looked like 20 or so years ago, 25 years ago. And it's a lot, you know, it's a little waxy maybe, but the young Arnold robot looks fairly dead on.
They very meticulously recreate the scene where he arrives naked at Griffith Observatory. Right. That's kind of cool. So also the big main thrust of this is that the Cloud is evil. Right. And I have a problem with like just the rampant hypocrisy of this, like I did with Jurassic World, saying, "Oh, corporate greed is bad," brought to you by Mercedes-Benz and Samsung. So the Terminator movie wants to tell you that the Cloud is evil, and so please don't buy movie tickets on your phone, and please don't tweet or post about it afterward.
Which was also the message of sex tape.
I actually wrote that in my review. I'm like, sex tape was right. Don't upload things to the Cloud.
They are smart about sort of updating the idea of Skynet when for an age where we're all willingly, happily staring at our devices.
And they throw in a military component. There was like a throwaway 20-second line about how Skynet is also, that part of this is involved with the contracts with the military, and that is clearly what went wrong.
Did we learn nothing from War Games?
I don't know. I just there was some joy in this. There's a chase scene in helicopters at the end that irritated me, that I actually would have been higher on, because then it was silly and it drove me nuts, and like that seemed really dumb to me. But and then J.K. Simmons shows up about halfway through the movie, a little more, maybe even more than halfway, whatever, and he doesn't get enough to do, but everything he does elevates everybody, I think,
Right.
You're
around
happy to
it.
see him,
Yeah, you're so
certainly.
happy to see him, every line he has. But then like you think he's going to be sort of the heroic savior because he's the guy who right off the bat
knows what's going on.
And he has the best line in the movie.
Yeah, he does.
absolutely.
What is his?
Well, I don't want to
Oh, you
spoil
wanna
it, but
spoil
he's
it?
got the best
There
line
are a
in the
lot
movie.
of names that
can't
pop up in the
remember.
opening credits. You think, oh wow, great! Like I remember, oh Courtney B. Vance is in this. Awesome.
He's in,
One
like,
scene.
One scene.
Right.
Yeah,
The whole Young Han Lee as the T-1000
Yes.
bad cop, that stuff is pretty cool. I mean, it looks very similar to what we saw in T2.
Sure.
I'm not sure it's evolved that much, but it's still like dazzling to see how he's
Yeah.
even morph. It's
Right.
kind of fun. So some of that's cool. The thing that happens with the school bus on the Golden Gate Bridge
That
is
was-
like terrifying.
that was good.
And
That
a
was
full
good, yeah.
360. That was
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
amazing.
and hanging on I don't know. I just thought.
couple-
Okay.
I thought I
Look,
had fun.
this movie's fine, but the problem is that when you are part of the franchise where the first two movies are perfect,
Right.
right? You pale in comparison. And so that's the thing. Like if you're going to remake it, if you're going to do another Terminator after the first one and the second one are so good and iconic and great examples of what an action sci-fi movie should be, yeah, you're going to get compared to those. And if you're found wanting, sorry.
And this one's not even as good as 3, I think.
But is it better than
It's
4?
better than 4. It's better than. I will say it's better than 4.
I don't remember
Okay.
3. It's definitely better than 4. I liked it. I gave it a 6.8. I had fun, but you have to. I mean, I totally concede. If you try to follow what's happening, I could have scored this at 2.8 because it's so bad.
Yeah, I gave it a 6 just for the adrenaline and some of the fun
There was
action
adrenaline,
scenes, but
yeah.
it's a mess.
5.
5, it's fine.
So our average is a 5.7. It is at 20.
25%.
It's dropping.
Yeah.
Jay Courtney, is it Jai Courtney? Is he
Jay?
ever going to get a break?
He's a good guy in this time, strangely.
Who is he?
He's
He's
Kyle
Kyle
Reese.
Reese.
Oh, he's Kyle. Right.
You have
Yeah.
all
he-
these
They
Aussies.
keep putting him in these big action movies, and they just.
there were-
I keep
as a Game
wondering.
of Thrones fans, we have to mention Emilia
Clarke.
Clarke, but
Right.
they didn't pop either of them. They were fine.
She's got a little Linda Hamilton stuff going
And
on.
Jason
was
Clarke to
okay.
me is the blandest guy in the movies right now. Like I never remember him from film to film.
He's the other Australian guy in this movie.
He's
All right.
Australian.
The
I
other
didn't know
Clark.
that.
Yeah.
And the other Clark in
And
this
the
one.
And the other Clark.
Bye.